Hi there, welcome to the next part of the rack-mounted quiz tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we had completed building this part of the interface for the rack-mounted quiz. This is the loader that loads the cards here, and we had also finished up building the analyzer section with these card readers and the meters here that will read the cards. So I'll show you our progress so far. So we've got these 4 cards here loaded in this device, and when we want to choose one of them, say I want to choose C, I click the load button, the card will go down and it will be inserted into this AccuView reader, and it will tell us whether the answer is correct for that, true or correct, in which case the needle will move and point to yes, and we'll see a color change, or not the correct answer, and it will go to no. Okay, and this one happens to be false. False. There's the true one, so this will also be false. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We also built the little racks here to hold this equipment, and I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go on up, and this, of course, will be, this is an image of the final product. We're going to go ahead and build the monitor now and work on that. All right. So I just have to make a decision as to whether I want to draw that out or I want to copy it from this, and I think I actually want to copy it. So I'm going to take the loader and I'm going to copy this. Just going to move it to the very top. I'm going to paste it in place. I'm going to move it up. Actually, this is going to have to be under the cards. I take it back so I can put it down there. Before I do anything crazy, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the symbol, and I'm going to call this monitor. And I'll call it monitor down here as well. I'm not sure if I'll need to instance it, but I believe I will. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to delete a bunch of stuff. Let me just make sure to see if there's anything that I'm going to need. There really is nothing from this that I'm going to need, so I'm going to delete all of that, and I'm going to delete that as well. Now I'm going to be stretching this out to make it a little bit bigger. Before I do that, I'm going to get rid of these lines. When I stretch it, it's going to change the shape of these holes. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to grab one of those and I'm going to cut that. And I'm just going to come back. Oh, let me go ahead and label this as monitor. I'm going to paste this on another layer, so I've got it. And where did I paste it actually? There it is. I'm not sure actually if I stretch this out and I bring it in, if it'll stretch the shape of that, but I can eventually get the original shapes back. I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to leave that for now, and I'm going to, in fact, what I might do is I might actually bring this up and go right on top of my old graphic and get it a similar size anyhow as I stretch this. Now that, of course, is going to warp the back, so this may not have been the best idea, but I think I can probably work with that anyhow. So I'm going to bring it back down, and then I'm going to shorten the back. So I want this actually above. Let's see if I want it there. Where do I want this? Okay. Okay, so we have that situation, right? Let me save that for a moment, and let me go back and have a look at my original and see how I manage to do this. I have the monitor way down near the bottom. Okay. Look way down near the bottom. Okay. Well, let's give that a try again. Yeah, that's what I want. That's good enough. Just to the edge of that. Okay. And obviously it's too big here. I can still move everything down. I'm not going to worry about that right this moment. So I'm going to come into the monitor and have a look at this section right here. Okay, so what I might be able to do I'm going to try. Let's see what happens if I do that. If I get all that stroke on that side. Let's give this a try. Let's see if I can just pull it back a little bit. That's not too bad. See if I can do that a little bit more. Okay, so it's coming up. All right, what if I did it there? Okay, I think what I'll do at this point is I will move all of these down. I'm not going to move the rack. All right, and I don't really care about that layer there. Not the rack. I said not the rack, but it won't move anyhow. I'll zoom out a bit, and I just want to do that. Let's have a look at that. Okay, that's not too bad. That is not too bad. All right, so let's have a look at these holes here. I'll get rid of all this and I'll fill it in, and then we'll do the holes again. Okay, let's see what happens if I make a new layer. If I come back here, let's lock everything up. If I grab that, if I bring it into the monitor layer, yeah, it warps it. Okay, no problem at all. All I'm going to do is not that. Bring this over here, and I'm going to trace that size of the hole right there to some extent. Doesn't have to be exact, but I'll do this kind of thing. Okay, let's go back to 2 or something like that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, that's fine. So let's, I will take this and find a reasonable position to put this. It seems a little tight there. Okay, well, that's all right. So let's grab that and see how she looks if I just eyeball this. And if I have 2 of them there, I may have to make this less thick as well. And if I just bring them across, see how that's going to look. I think I can even bring them in a little bit. Actually, that's not bad. All right, let's just go with that. Let's cut that, put it on the body layer, and I will punch through this. There we go. Okay, that's the beginning of our monitor. And if I've got a stroke on here, let's see if I do. That goes nicely around. Nah, no worries. Okay, so we're going to go up to here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this inset part. I want it to go in behind the cards. So I'm just going to drag out a rectangle like this. I'll leave it as a stroke of 2. I just want to see how close to the holes I go. Sort of equally around. Okay. And again, it's not going to look exactly like the original, but that's all okay. That's okay. Now, one thing I am noticing is the placement with respect to the 4 cards. This is almost actually lined up. Let me have a look at the original. It goes outside of both of them, and I actually prefer that. So yeah, I will come out. I don't need that much room on the sides. So let's come out closer to the holes. Pass the card there, pass the card there. Let's see what happens if I center this. Yeah, that's probably a little bit more accurate. Just like that. Okay, I have a little bit more space there than there because these aren't placed exactly, but I think it's going to look a bit more obvious with respect to the cards than anything else. That's going to be close enough. All right, the distance between that and the hole and that and the hole, they're pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill this with black. Okay. Might want to make it a little bit longer though. A little bit of a less thick here. Let's try that. If I come down a bit more. That still looks pretty good. Okay, so now what do we got? We've got an outer stroke that's lighter gray in color, so let's do that. So I've got this. What I'll just do is I will make this, say 4. Let's try that. And choose this light gray and see if that does the job for us. It sort of bevels it. I'm going to try 3 though and see if it looks a little bit more natural. 4 is not looking too bad. Is that enough? And yeah, that is enough. All right. I'm then going to take that stroke again, copy it and paste it in place, and then I'm going to make it, I'll go ahead right now and change that to 1, and I'm going to bring it in. Not too much though. All right, I'll do it this way. Just a little bit there for the moment, and we'll get it. Just so I can sort of form a little space. That actually looks pretty good. I just want to see how similar it looks to the original. Yeah, that's reasonably close. Okay, yeah, I could see writing in there. I'm going to have some buttons on the side here and buttons on the side there, and that will work out quite nicely for us. I don't really have a problem putting all this on the body, so I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, very nice. All right, I put a couple of very tiny screws there, just as design elements or dots. So I will go ahead and I'm going to try putting some screws. I may decide to put them in a different spot as well. So I'm going to grab that bolt, and for the moment I'm going to bring it up there. And it's going to look all warped because we stretched this. So I'm going to fix that. And make it smaller. See what that looks like in that spot. I actually like that size. So it might look better if we have them in the corners like that. I don't know if I have one there. On the other hand, it may throw the other ones off that don't have them there, and so I change my mind. I'm going to try one there, and let's see what that's going to look like if I put them there. I almost like that one there and there. Not sure about this one. Okay, well, I'm going to delete that one for the time being. I'm going to grab this, bring it down. Oops. I lost my... Not quite the edge. See if you can still see it through the card. Yeah, you know what? I might actually copy those and bring them up. Let's just see what it looks like. Yeah. Nope, I don't like the top ones. You can always do more with that later if we decide we want to. But for now, that's fine. In fact, I'm going to take them and put them right down on the body layer. Even though I have a mix of graphics and symbols, I don't really care. Okay, great. Now, let's go ahead and make some buttons here. We'll do the next and back buttons. They're all very similar. Okay, and pretty easy buttons to make. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab white with a black stroke of, I'll start with 2. I'm just going to draw a circle and then we'll zoom in on that. And we'll see what our sizes are like. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call this next BTN. We'll come inside this. I'll call this body. I'm going to take the fill and copy it to another layer and fill this with that first gray. Put it under. This will be my indent. And I'm going to stretch it out in behind the button. Now I believe I wanted to get rid of that stroke. I'll have a look and see what that looks like. Not bad. Come up here, choose black with no stroke, and I'm going to make an arrow. Turn it. Did I warp it? Yes, I did. Why did I do that? Okay. Sometimes that happens, and it might be because the movie clip in here has been stretched. Let me try this. Okay, doesn't want to behave. So let me try this. Come out of that symbol. I'll paste it in center. Oh, didn't want to come into it. Just want to get it a little bit more round. And I'll come into it and I'm going to try that again. It's looking a little bit small on the outside. We'll see what happens when we go inside. Okay, we're having some fun here. All right, we've got ourselves a button here, and we'll adjust the size in a moment. I'm going to take this and bring it back into the monitor. Paste it in the center, And we'll deal with all this weird stuff here. Make it look somewhat like a circle. And I will increase in size. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks kind of indented there. That looks fine to me. So that's going to be there. I think I'll come into the button and I will do, there's the arrow. I'm going to actually I might want to put a stroke on that arrow. A very basic stroke of, let's try 1 and see if that is going to help at all or not. Sorry, back to this color here. That might be too much, although it's not very noticeable there. I'll leave it for the time being, and I will take this and paste it down on the body of the button. Okay, so this is good, and I'm going to do the text, and this is going to be the next button. Let's try that and see what it looks like. Okay, and we'll just experiment with this until we get what we want. Let's come down even a bit more. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, let's work on getting this to animate. Call that text. Okay, simple depressed button. Depressible button. Stop in there. And we'll create another keyframe, or sorry, more frames there. Drag the stop over. And yeah, the text is going to stay the same. I just want to affect the body, so keyframe right there, and I've got that already selected, and so I'm just going to modify, transform, scale, and rotate by 0 degrees, and we'll do 90. We'll see what that looks like. Okay, and I'll put some sample code on this for the moment. And I don't mind that the next is included there. They could click on that, or the button itself just gives a bigger space for them to click on, because these are our small buttons. This dot go to and stop to, and I'm going to do on release. This dot go to and stop 1, and I'm also going to do on release outside, because this is a small button. There's a chance that people will lift up off the mouse outside of the button zone, and I want to make sure that it will go back to the first frame. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so what did I do? This dot go to, oops, and stop. Yeah, that's why none of these were turning blue. You guys probably saw that as I was doing it. What am I doing? There we go. Yeah, they can click on the next word or the button. That's totally fine. Okay, that's not bad. Next button, just like that. I just want to double check and decide if I do possibly want a stroke around it. Yeah, you know what? These do have a thin black stroke, and I think it just delineates the button a little bit more. I do like this look, but in this particular case, I do think that it's going to look a little bit better if I put a stroke. But let's give it a try anyhow. So we're going to go 1, and I just want a stroke around there. So let's try that on there. And One there. Let's see what that looks like. That's a cooler button, eh? That's a nicer button. In fact, you know what? I actually would prefer if this was a bit bigger, okay, along with its indent. And so I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. So I'll do that, and I'll go to 110 again, and I'll take just that one. I'll go to 110. Let's try that. Yeah, now the arrow you might think is a little bit big, but I'm going to leave it. That's fine with me. So that's going to be the next button, and I'm going to copy that. Bring it down. And I mean, I don't mind making this another symbol. I could have used the same symbol, but because I put the text in there, you know, they're so small. You know, I'm going to call this the back button. We'll come in here and we will switch the text to say back. And I will flip this, and I will flip this, and you know, actually I don't like it that way. I'm going to try and see if it makes a difference. That's not what I want. If it makes a difference if I flip it from here. Yeah. All right, I'm going to have to manipulate the arrow on my own because it's moved over too much. And I seem to have lost. I guess I got a black stroke in there. Oh, that's what it is. I'll fix that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You look at that. That's fine. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me double check this. Looks good. Okay, that's why the arrow is looking too big. This stroke switched. I want it there. And I want just on the arrow like that. Like that. See what that looks like. Yeah, it looks a little smaller. That's fine. It's not even really noticeable. But we're going to go with that anyhow. Flip the text around. Looks good. Excellent. Let's go back up to the next button here and fix that arrow. And here. There we go. Actually, I'm going to adjust the spacing here a little bit. Okay, so let's get that down there. Let's get that up there a little bit. See what that looks like. The back button, the next button. Very good. Now, you know, it's up to you if you decide you wanted to do a help button. You could do that. I think I'm going to do that. Actually, I realized something, and that is I don't want these buttons inside this symbol. I don't. I'm going to call this next back BTN, and I have a feeling we are going to have some warping issues. This may have been a small mistake that I made. I am going to cut these frames. I'm going to come back out here, right up near the top for the time being. Paste frames. Yep, I got an issue, but we'll solve it. I want them out here on the root directory, or on the root level. All right, they will be much easier to control here. And so this is okay. What I'm going to do is I'll come back into here. I'm going to get rid of that text. And I am going to reshape this button. Should have known I should have known, but I didn't. Let's see what that looks like. That's better. All right, I'm going to ditch this one. We'll fix that up in a bit. So I'm going to get rid of the back button here. Okay. I am going back in here and I'll write the text again. That looks better right off the bat anyhow. Okay. Sorry about that. Come here, drag it down. This is the back button. I'm going to try just transforming it here. Come into it. And we'll flip the text around. And I will likely go through my stuff with that arrow again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suppose I could use this, but no, I don't like it that way. Okay, because it's on the white, it's affecting what's underneath it, but it doesn't seem to be a problem. Okay, because it's all white, I can see it. That's fine. Back button, next button. Better. And again, they are quite small, admittedly, but they're there. Okay, now I'll take one of these and I'll put it on a layer above, and I'll move it across and convert it into a help button. I may or may not code the help. You know, create the whole help menu. I can show it to you what I've got from before, but we'll see if I do that. But just so that the interface looks kind of cool. So I'll call this the help button. I'm not instancing these right now. I'm not sure I'm going to need to. Boy. Help button. I'm just going to call this help. And what I'll do is I'll get rid of this and the stroke, and I'll fill it back in with white. Both of these here. All right, that might have been an easier way to do it. Okay, and what I'll do is I'm just going to draw, you know, like I'll do a question mark. Now, I'll do this in something like Arial black. It just looks better. The question mark looks better. A little bit more straightforward for a small symbol like that. That might be a bit big. And just have a look at that and see what it looks like. That's not bad. Okay, so if I take it there, I'll come over to this frame here. And can I modify text that way? Yeah, let's see if that looks reasonable. Okay. And let's move it down a bit. Okay, I want to move it down even more. So when I click it, yeah, that looks reasonable. Okay. Now, in my original, I have a help on and help off button. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. That's sort of a closing thing that you could do. All right, in which case if I only had one button, I'd probably center it a bit better. But I mean, this is what we got. Starting to look pretty cool, right? We got a lot more to go, mind you. And I'm not crazy about this spacing here. All right. Again, what I would probably do is I could come into the loader, and I could shorten the back so that this could push down a little bit more. And I mean, we could have a look at that. We certainly could have a look at that. This is the loader. Let's go into the loader. Okay, because there is more of a gap than this one. So yeah, let's have a look at that on the body. In fact, it would have been ideal if I hide the monitor, and then we'll come in here and we'll see, and I can hide the cards and zoom in a bit and just see what the deal is here. Yeah, it's quite thick. Can I do my magic on this and grab all of that? I think I can. Let's give it a try. See what happens. Well, the Earth hasn't finished spinning yet or anything. Let's come back out and see if I've given myself a bit of room. I have given myself a bit of room. And at this point, let me just bring down this even just a little bit more, even just that, you know, amount, and see if that's a lot closer. I mean, mind you, I can see more space here, but you know what? That is good enough. I certainly could do more if I wanted, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Cool. All right, so we're getting somewhere for sure. All right, I'm just looking at the static image here to get a sense of what we need to do next. And I think what we should be doing, I'll come back to the original, is starting work on these questions. All right, so we're really on the first frame of this, and then we'll be able to make the scorekeeper, which is this bottom piece down here, and it will be more meaningful once we start looking at questions. So I'm going to make this introduction screen here with some instructions here, but just while we're here, you'll note that I've got help, and I've just put question mark on instead of writing the word help. And when I click on this, it highlights certain areas with the steps that people would progress through, and then click it off. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll put some instructions like this here, and we'll make some questions. As we start moving through, we'll start adjusting true and false and score and stuff, and we got some more work to do. So let's go ahead in here, and just above the monitor layer, I'll try putting it in there. All right, questions. And let's start now. Actually, there is one more thing. I take it back. In the monitor screen, I did separate out this area a little bit. Well, it would help if I was looking at not at the diagram, but at the actual thing. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that for now. I'll come back into the body, and I'm just going to grab this side here, and I'm going to move these lines across, and I'll do it, let's see how far I want to go. I kind of want 2/3 and 1/3. I'm not going to be able to tell from there, but I can adjust this line later on. So I'm going to leave that for the time being. And in fact, I'm not crazy about this brightness of stroke. So I think I'm going to darken this a little bit. I want a little bit less obtrusive, and I might even go darker than that. But for the time being, I'm going to leave that. Okay, so now back to the questions. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a big introduction title thing, and I called this other one metabolism. You know what? Let's call this homeostasis. Do some slightly different questions. Homeostasis. All right, I'm going to make this quite large. So it would be homeostasis, and I don't want this in Arial black, although that would be fine. I'm going to do this in impact, and that's probably going to change everything. Okay, not bad. Nice and big. Okay, and I'll get it roughly centered between those two sides. And then I'll come over here on this side. And I'm not going to write with impact, though. I'm going to say, I'll just start this off. I want to do this in another font. I'll probably do it in Verdana. So it's easy to read. It's going to be white. Size, I don't know. Try 18, see if that's far too small. Actually, that's probably pretty good. In fact, I'll probably have to do it a bit smaller, depending on what I want to say. Okay, so I'm going to say something like, read the question and answer and choose the best answer A, B, C, D by clicking on the load button. I'm going to highlight this word. Okay, let's just check out the size. Read the question and answer and choose the best answer, A, B, C, D, by clicking on the load button. Bang, they would click on the load button. And then I'll say, view the result on the, I'll call it AccuView, on the AccuView reader to see if you were right or wrong. I don't have to spend a long time on wording this. This is not really part of the tutorial. Okay. View the result on the AccuView meter to see if you were right or wrong. So it'll be like this. Bang. Okay, so I was wrong. After that, we would have information about the threshold. So let's say this as well. Also view your score. Also view your score, which tracks right and wrong answers, and do not and we'll say this, and pay attention to the threshold meter. If you get 4 answers wrong, you lose the game. Is it really a game? Now, we'll see what happens when those are behind the card. I like that. That's not bad. All right, so let's grab threshold. Okay, it's the keywords referring to the key interface components. I think I'm going to make this important as well. These aren't really the words that I would necessarily use. You've got to put some real thought into this. But that's the general idea. All right, so at this point, it's time to make an actual real question, and we'll make sure that these are not turnable yet, and then the next buttons, etc., etc. So I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the score module, and put it in, and then we're going to start really actually getting this quiz going. Yeah, we're about 44 minutes into the video. I'll see if I can do the score thing within 20 minutes. I'm not the fastest worker, and then we'll leave it at that point. So the way that I'll do this is I'm just going to take this panel here, which is that the analyzer? Yes, it is. I'm going to copy that and call that score. Paste it, and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to shrink this, and I'll have the same problem with those holes, but that's okay. Make sure that I change this, duplicate this. I don't want to mess that up. Score, call it score, and I'll come in, get rid of the lines again. I'm going to get rid of these holes. I'll just redraw holes. And fill that in. And when I stretch it, of course, I'll deal with the back. Okay. Okay. Well, let's not do it that way. And that actually squishes the back up nicely. They don't all have to be equally spaced. And I might be able to get away with just one hole. What did I do on this one? I can't see because of that. So hide the racks. Yeah, only did one hole. Great. Great. I'm going to leave those racks hidden for the time being. So I will come into the score here, and I'm going to just trace one of these holes on the side from above and get it roughly the same size. I'm actually wondering if maybe I used the wrong stroke size on some of the previous holes. This is what I'm wondering. That's close enough. Great. Take it down here. Okay. Seems awfully close to the side. I suppose I could put it on top of the other one, but it's really not going to matter that much. Okay. Nice. I like the way it's lining up with the holes. Okay. And yeah, every time. Okay, so we're going to do these dynamic text boxes here, and I'll grab in the resistor, throw it in there, and a screw, and we'll make that. We may have to make that in the next video. So back down here, I think I'm going to go right above here. This is going to be dynamic text. Text box. dynamic. I'm going to want it to be, I think, white font in there. And we'll adjust that. It's probably going to be bold as well. And yeah, okay. It's not going to look exactly the same. We'll do something like that. Okay, now, I'm not sure what I called this, so let's leave that there for the moment and come up. I'm going to go back to my original and see where my dynamic text is. Well, I guess I put it right inside there, and I certainly could do that, and I think I probably will. So let me just see what I called this. Root. Yeah, when you're inside another symbol, you have to relate back to the root. Root answer right. So let's just go ahead and do it that way. So I'll take this. Did I get it? Yeah. And we'll come in here. Okay, and we'll get that kind of thing. All right. And for the variable, we'll call it root answer right. And just to test this out, we'll come up to the top, and really didn't have to come up to the top of that. Here we're going to have answer right equals 0. Let's try that, see if I did that right. Oh, and what color did I make that text? Did I make it black? I made it white. Let's make it black so we can see it for the moment. And I see a tiny little 0 there. Yeah, one of the problems of doing it in here. Bigger 0. I don't want it selectable either. Okay, nice big 0 there. Okay, good enough for the moment. I'm going to do another one over here. No, you know what? I think I will go ahead and I'm going to do a border, and maybe I'll just do a black background for now. Oh yeah, this is always the fun part here. Score border or background, whatever. What I'll do is I'll put a stroke on this, and then I'll move it out. And I certainly don't want it that big. I'll try 1, and I'll bring this out. And I can make it all smaller. Yeah, I'll just make it smaller. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And I'll go back into the dynamic text, and I'll make this white for the text, and it's going like that. Center it, and there we go. Okay, now what other fancy things did I do up here? Nothing much. Okay, so we can go with that. I'll grab this one and I'll just copy it over there for the time being, and this is going to be answer wrong. So I got the two of them, and we'll go ahead and we'll put some text on here as well. I don't want this as impact though. Oh yeah, static text. Not that. And we'll just see how that looks. That might be a bit small, actually. I might set that to 0. Let's try bringing this over here. Okay, not bad. A little bit small though. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, score right and score wrong will work for us. I'm going to come back up to here and answer wrong. We'll set that to 0 at first as well. Spacing doesn't really matter here. So we have right and we have wrong. I believe in the original one I set this one to red. I'm not quite sure if I did. Let's just try that. Nice bright red. Let's see if that looks good. That might be hard to read. I'll leave it like that just for the moment. Okay, let's zoom out and see where we need to put stuff on here. So I've got a line, I've got the threshold there. So it's the thing, I obviously called it score right, score wrong, that's fine. But I need the resistor in there and the line. So resistor. Okay, so let's go above here. I don't know which one we want. Maybe that one. It'll probably come in looking all funny, warped and stuff like that. That's okay. It doesn't matter if these are a different size as well, you know, because it is a different module. So I can try that and just see what that's going to look like. Let's just see if it's even visible. Okay, looks funny. So that's okay though. I'll fix that up. Do something like that. See what that looks like. Yep, that looks good. So we're gonna have one of those there. We're gonna have another one over here somewhere, and we're gonna need a line. So I'll just grab that from the body. No, I won't do that. We're going to use that kind of a line. I will do it on the body layer, but not yet. We'll do hairline. I'll just come from here and see what that looks like. Just a little space from the resistor, something like that. I'll probably have to shift stuff down so I give myself enough room for the threshold there, so I'm going to actually move everything. Resistors, text, dynamic text, score border, and the lines. Good. I'm going to move all that down. There, something like that. Looking good. Okay, if you want to throw that screw in there, we could. We could just throw it on this layer. That's going to look funny. Okay, I'll fix it up. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Come back here. So what else are we missing? We got some text there, and we got the threshold. Let's see what our time is like. And we are at 1 hour, so I think this is a good place to stop that for the time being. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next part.